Welcome back to this special edition of The Point with me, Liu Xin, for the Chinese New Year. I'm joined by 6 special guests for today's show. From Montreal, Switzerland, we have Angelo Giuliano, a political and financial analyst who has lived in China for 2 decades. From Vancouver, Canada, we have Cyrus Janssen, a senior consultant at APP Marketing Solutions, but otherwise known for his popular YouTube channel. We have Adham, a PhD candidate at Huazhong University of Science and Technology, joining us from Wuhan. From New York, we have independent analyst Amanda E. We have from Qingdao, Eastern China, Jerry Goode, a content creator on YouTube. And from Bali, Indonesia, Carl Jha, host of the Silk and Steel podcast. How do you think, this idea of personal connectivity, physical distance, being close to your loved ones and being close to your loved ones on a family reunion on an important holiday, how has that changed because of the pandemic, and are we ever going to get back when this is over in a year or 2 or however long it might take? I mean, I don't know who want to pick that question first.
I'll go if it's okay.
Yeah, Jerry.
Because I'm going to make it quick. Okay, cool. I will speak for myself and my wife. My wife is Chinese, right? So for her, I think there's positive and negatives in this whole thing. The reason I say that is this is the first time she moved away from her hometown into Qingdao with me, and
where is she
wanted
from
to go
originally?
back all the time. She's actually from a small little town close to Xi'an called Huazhong.
Okay. Xi'an in northwest China. So Xi'an is in northwest China,
right,
for those who don't know, and Qingdao is on the eastern side of China by the sea, by the Pacific.
That's right. So she moved with me to Qingdao, obviously, and she wanted to go back all the time, this homesick thing. And with the COVID-19 breakout, there was no way of her that she can go back. And that basically built up this strength in her, and she's totally fine. I feel it built up her personality, so it's a good thing. The bad thing is to see her sometimes sad, not seeing her family. Chinese people and family, that is the biggest thing I learned from the Chinese people, that it's the most important thing, that and then food.
Cyrus, let me go to you. For people outside of China in different cultures, are families not important or not as important? Is there a difference, between the Chinese feeling towards family, towards family reunion versus the other ones? I'm sure they all have a degree of intimacy as well. Is there a difference?
No, I don't think so. I think that's one of the things that's so unique about this world that we live in. You can travel around the world and, certainly different cultures, different languages, but, family in almost every culture, is very important, and kind of to answer that question about with my family, it's very unique because my wife's family, for instance, my wife's parents, they're in Guangdong. So, and then my parents are in Florida, so we're actually in the middle between both of them in Canada. And so, I think this is a unique situation. Neither myself or my wife can see our parents. The thing for us that's interesting is we have 3 young children. So we've spent, a lot of time, the 5 of us together, which has just been a tremendous blessing for us. I remember when we first went to lockdown, my 5-year-old daughter's, I want to ride a bike. And I said, great, we can do this every day. And so within a week,
Papa has the time.
She rode a bike. Yeah, I've got the time, and so 2020, I'll always remember that was the year that we went for a bike ride every single day together as a family. And it was really special because my wife and I both strapped one of the twins on our back of our bike. And then, we're doing the best we can as everyone around the world is.
Yeah, I think, this idea of family is definitely felt in every culture. And I wonder for Switzerland or for Adham from the Middle East, in your culture, is the idea of family not equally as important, Adham?
For us, the family is the most important thing. Like, for example, I saw my father one time in video. I didn't speak with him a lot in video, but during the lockdown, they was making a documentary about my story. So I saw my father on the laptop. He's working and he have a tahud, like bread, like white one.
Beard.
What's this?
Yeah.
Time it's go fast. So I want to see him very soon. So yeah, during that time we think a lot about our family.
Are you able to somehow find definitely not a substitute, but some kind of comfort in the friends that you have, or in the people that you have met in Wuhan, or from the fact that you are probably able to carry on your way of life to a certain degree in Wuhan? Has that been possible, so that you're not missing everything, about your identity, about your family?
Look, before the pandemic, I say, when Chinese people ask me where are you from, I say all time, Wuhan. So after pandemic,
You're from Wuhan.
I feel more and more like I'm from this city. I like those people. It's exactly what Jerry said. Like, those people are special people. All time smile for you, all time help you. So, and what we did together here, it's make me more and more Wuhanese. So yeah, of course I miss my family, but here also I have a lot of families in Wuhan.
Good to know. Good to know. I'm happy if that is the case. Yeah.
And actually, Jerry, I like so much Xi'an. It's one of the, I like so much because Xi'an look like our culture in Lebanon, in Syria. It's those old cities in that place. So I like it so much.
Right.
It's one of my best.
Awesome, buddy.
Angelo, you have something to say, something to add from your perspective?
Yeah, I think if I was to choose, I live in Switzerland, so it's a very nice place, but I would trade any place in the world. I could be in Siberia, in the middle of nowhere, but I'm just happy with my family. So it's and also I come. My both parents are Italians, so we are very close family, and the center of the family is the mother. So I'm lucky to be here with my mothers and my sisters and my family. But what is missing right now is just my son. So it's a pity, especially when they're small. So it feels like I'm missing something. But the good thing is that he's in good hands. He's in Dandong and he's healthy, and that's what's the most important.
Yeah, absolutely. Health, right? Wherever we are, health is really the most important. So I think for the year of the ox, the biggest lesson I have picked up is that whatever you do, health comes first, health and safety, not just for yourself, but for your family as well. And maybe that's also why 2020 has been so special for so many people. Carl, you're an upbeat person, I can tell, right? You're full of sunshine and everything. Yeah. What did it feel to you? Either the concept of family, if you want to continue along that thread, or the importance of health. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's no doubt that the two are related. As you mentioned before, that health, not just health. I increasingly as I grow older, I increasingly realize how important health is. And as you mentioned, not just for yourself, but also for your family. Because my parents are now in their 70s, and I worry about them. But like Amanda also mentioned, that one side effect of the pandemic is that now we do get in touch with each other more frequently, through WeChat, through FaceTime. My parents, they weren't able to come to my wedding last year because of pandemic. So, my mom saw my wedding through FaceTime. I held up my phone the whole time. I also recorded our whole wedding ceremony. So we hired a professional videographer to do that too. So I uploaded to YouTube. They get to see that. And now in Bali, I'm trying to start my own family tradition. I'm expecting my first child in April.
Wow!
So,
congratulations.
Yeah, I look forward to it. Thank you. I look forward to that. And also living a cross-cultural family. My wife, she's a Balinese, so I'm also gonna try to integrate the both traditions. When I raise my kids, I want to make sure he both have both the Balinese cultural values, but also the Chinese cultural value as well.
Yeah, I think one thing that is common among all of us, and not just who we are, but the way that we see this world is this mixedness, right? This openness to different input, different culture. Every culture has a place in this world, and the beauty of this mixture as well, the richness that comes with it as well. And I think that really defines maybe this group, right, that we have here. I think that's really the biggest thing I see in common among all of us. Since this is a Spring Festival special, I'm going to give the floor now to each and every one of you to showcase that bit of an openness or mixedness or richness by asking you to each produce a small number. I don't know, whatever you can come up with, and just have some fun. Don't make it too long. But let me see who I start with. Maybe who wants to volunteer? Who wants to volunteer?
I think Carl should go first.
No way.
Okay, Carl.
If you guys have told me beforehand, maybe I can prepare salsa dancing number.
You don't need to prepare anything, Carl. Just on the spot. Hey, let's see.
I got nothing. I can talk forever, but we don't have time for that. And so I yield my floor to the next person.
How about Carl? Have you picked up a few Balinese from talking to your wife or talking to the local people? Maybe just say something in the local language, like something about the Happy New Year or whatever.
Okay.
Let's get a feel of that.
Okay, the very important Balinese phrase is "suksama," means thank you. So that's I just say that and I can't get away with anything. I just say "suksama" and people are like, yeah.
Does that pass? Okay, that passed. Who else? Who's next? Jerry.
Yeah. Okay, well, I have no dance, no singing, no nothing, but I did try something. I want you to look at this. Check this out.
Oh, wow.
What do you think
Did you write
about
that?
this?
Did you write that yourself?
So here we go. Obviously, this is a message to all my Chinese friends out there, also my family, and to you, Liu, and all the people at CGN. I hope around China and the world can read this. Now, here's the thing.
Just a moment. Hold it up.
6 hours.
Hold it up.
Did you write it yourself?
Yeah, hold
did
it up.
you write it or your wife write it?
This took me
wrote it?
6 hours to figure this out, to perfect it like a real
Really?
Chinese person.
Wow.
So I wish you and your family for this coming new year just a prosperous year, and I hope we can overcome all the difficulties lying ahead of us. And then to end off my little party trick, I want to say Happy New Year in 3 languages. So first is Chinese. I want to say Xin Yan Kuai Le. Number 2 is my mother tongue called Afrikaans. It's like Dutch, and it sounds like this. Geseënde Nuwe Jaar. And then in English, to all the English people around the world, Happy New Year.
Wow.
That is my party.
Yes.
I hope it's fair.
Wow. That's great.
Thank you.
Oh, that's
Thank
really
you.
amazing.
Thank you.
Beautiful. Well done, Jerry.
Yeah.
Thank you, guys. Thank you.
Great. Wow. A lot of work in there. So who's next?
Actually, one time I tried to.
Yeah, Adham.
Actually, one time I tried to write in Chinese for of course, John Nanshan. I write something for him on my book.
The famous Chinese doctor.
So
Yeah, the
also
famous
it
Chinese
took me
doctor.
around- Yeah. Actually, it took with me around 4 hours to just write 3 lines, So I know exactly what you think
It
about.
takes a long time.
Yeah.
So also, I don't have any like talent, but maybe also I can say for all of people Happy New Year, and also from my language كل عام وأنتم بخير.
Okay. Well, I won't try to imitate it, but yeah, that's
This in
great.
Arabic.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Yeah, Arabic is one of
Thank
the
you.
languages that I won't try. I mean, I speak a few languages, but I don't think I'll have the courage to really.
It's a beautiful language,
I
but
know,
also
but
it's
it
hard.
sounds difficult.
It's
Sounds
beautiful,
difficult to
but
me.
hard.
Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
next.
You know, Manda Yi studied Arabic. Maybe that can
Carl.
be her performance.
Oh, yeah, that was what I was going to do. I can say very basic things in Arabic. I can say ahlan sahlan,
Yeah.
كيفك,
Welcome.
yeah, and kul am wa intum bikhair.
What does that mean?
Well, Happy New
Oh,
Year.
nice. Very nice.
Yeah. What does that
Yeah,
mean?
Happy New Year.
Yeah.
It's the same. كل عام وأنتم بخير.
Yeah.
Yes.
Angelo and Chris, you're not allowed to give out New Year wishes in your original language anymore because we have enough of this. Try to do something else. Angelo?
No, something else.
Yeah?
Another language? No. I have French, Italian, and Spanish. Is it good? No. Are we good?
Yeah, bust them out.
Okay, go ahead.
Je vous souhaite bonne année.
Right.
And Feliz Año Nuevo in Spanish, and then Buon anno in Italian.
Thank you. That's still nice. Thank you. Yes. Cyrus.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we can't celebrate Chinese New Year unless we also talk about Southern China, right? And my family's from my Chinese family is from Guangdong, from Guangzhou. So, 佢哋識講廣東話，所以我講你講廣東話好唔好？恭喜發財。
Wow.
So actually, it was quite funny. I'll tell a funny story as well. I was talking to somebody and they're like, "Oh, Cyrus, I'm learning how to say, like Happy New Year in Chinese. It's 恭喜發財." And I'm like, "Oh yeah, you did a good job." And it's like, I don't get it though. Like Happy New Year is 3 words, but why is it 恭喜發財? Why is it 4? And I said, well, it's not how you say Happy New Year. I said, what it means is congratulations, let's get rich. That's what it actually means. I hope you prosper, right? Be prosperous, right? But they thought that was hilarious. So that's my little funny joke there.
Good. Well,
Nice.
yeah,
Nice.
the Cantonese accent is pretty good. And again, that's something I won't dare to try because I will sound very funny. But another thing with this Chinese identity or this Chinese culture is, aside from the family, aside from the eating, which is very, very important, and then there's this aspect of everything having to do with prosperity. Harmony is a big word, right? This we already talked. But this whole idea with either making money, being rich, or being prosperous is a very big thing for the Chinese culture. How do you look at that? And is that different in any way than the Western culture? The Anglo-Saxon identity, let's say. Anybody want to pick that up?
I think, it is a little bit of a difference in a cultural aspect. I think obviously, the Chinese, wishing prosperity, and that's the way that you wish a Chinese New Year greeting is, I wish that you're prosperous and things like that. I think, typically, like, let's say in American culture, you'd probably say, like, I wish you're happy, almost this idea of like, let's just be happy and enjoy the time. Whereas, so maybe just, it is a little bit different. I mean, you wouldn't say that in the Anglo-Saxon culture, if you will, get prosperous, but it is a little bit of a cultural difference for sure.
Absolutely. Mine could be easy. I'm not going to talk too much, so I'll leave the floor to the rest of the people. But for me, as I believe, if the Chinese people say, have a prosperous year, they actually mean it. When we in the West say something like this, we just say it because it's a saying and you forget about it in a couple of minutes. But yeah, in China, the people meaning, and that's very important, ladies and gentlemen. These people mean what they say.
You mean when they say let's be prosperous, they really want to be prosperous. They want to.
They really want to. That's right. They really want to make it happen. They really wish the sun shines over the rest of the country, over everybody. In the West, for me, it feels like, I'm not going to go into politics, but in the West, it feels to me like, if you say, I wish you good luck, I wish you wealth, I wish you a prosperous year, It's like actually saying it with a tongue in your cheek, like, I must say it now, but I'm coming for your business next. You know what I mean? I want to make more money than you, kind of thing. So,
But
yeah,
yeah,
the Chinese people mean what they say. That's very important.
Angelo?
Isn't it in China more in terms of a group? I think it's important for Chinese to succeed as a group, as a nation, while we tend to be more individualist in the West. I think, and we see that in many ways, also in politics, and in many ways, we also tackling the pandemics. So I think this is something that I really admire from China, is that it's an inclusive. And harmony, it's not about oneself, it's about a group. And I think it's very noble. It's a noble value.
Anybody else want to pick that up? Carl, your observation, and Amanda, your observation living in both cultures?
Amanda, you go ahead.
Sure.
Carl, we'll come to you, Carl. Don't forget, don't wait too long. Yeah, Amanda.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, one thing I've always appreciated about my family is that whatever they say, they mean 100%, and they're very direct.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like Chinese parents, Chinese aunties, they will tell you you're fat.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
You're handsome but a little fat.
Well, for a lot of them, making money is important, because without money, without salary, you can do nothing, right? You can't support your family, you can't pay attention to your health, you can't support your children. So when they talk about 恭喜发财, when they talk about prosperity in the new year, they do sincerely mean that, that's what they want. But Carl, give us your understanding about this, and don't just volunteer other people. And also, some people would say that's not true. They would have the impression that the Chinese people are now always beating around the bush, right? You can't get a straightforward yes or no from, and not just Chinese, maybe for the Japanese people, other East Asian people as well. Whereas with the Americans, they will tell in your face whether they like something about you or they don't, right? It seems to be the opposite of what Amanda just described, Carl.
And I think it goes back to something we talked about earlier about wishing for prosperous new year, for getting rich. I think you need to also take in consideration of the history, right? Because in China for the past 150 years, it was a very tumultuous time. China has gone through a lot since the 19th century. The time of prosperity, of peace, of stability. That's what the Chinese people tend to value nowadays, because they have these past history of chaos.
Yeah.
So they really appreciate the present even more. I think that's my take.
Absolutely.
Good or bad, I mean, if you don't have peace, good or bad, the idea of making money, but if you don't have peace, you don't have anything. I think that is the fundamental idea of the Chinese people when they go out, when they, interact with country. It's about, let's make some money, the Chinese side, and the other side, of course, would be also profiting from this, because otherwise in the long term, who wants to deal with you if only you are making profit? I think that is the logic that I can see. Very limited time left. So I think there's just enough time for me to go around each and every one of you and hear your New Year wish for the year of the ox. One specific wish, maybe what you want to accomplish in that year for yourself or for your family, or if you have thought about it, how about starting with Adham?
The most important things for me, what I wish for this new year, is to control the virus and people around the world go back to the normal life. And for my family, of course, I miss them so much. Hope if I can meet them very soon, and maybe we can celebrate together the victory against the virus, and also maybe I can cook some Chinese food now.
A lot of good wishes, big goals. Let's work on that. Next, shall I go to Cyrus?
I want to give you my perspective as an American, because as you know, my home country, we've been through a lot in the last year, even with this election. And kind of one thing that I told a lot of my friends and family is, we can't control a lot of these big things that are happening. I said, so let's really focus on ourselves and, what the impact we can do in our local community. So for instance, like one of the things that I'm going to focus on for myself is practicing a little bit more mindfulness. And I'm going to do that by really trying to reduce my cell phone usage. So that's kind of a unique thing I'm going to say for the new year. And even me as it's constantly on YouTube and Twitter, I'm going to try to just be more mindful, try to reduce my use of technology a little bit so I can be a better man for my, family, and I think, and if I can do that, I can have a better impact on the local community here. So that's kind of what I'm thinking, because the bigger things, the COVID, the governments, all these things, we can't really control that. Let's control what we can control and, try to do the best we can. So that's my message.
Very cool.
Yeah, very cool. Very good idea. Next, Amanda.
As far as my family goes, I'm hoping that we can get this pandemic under control, and I'll be able to see them in the next year.
Jerry?
You all do realize that I am the year of the rat. My zodiac is the year of a rat. So my wish is for everyone around the world, stop pointing fingers at one another. Let's use this year, the year of the ox, as what it resembles, and work together to defeat this virus. That's really my wish onto everyone watching this and around the world.
Great, very important message. Angelo?
My wish for this year is peace and unity. I think the six of us, there's something that unites us, is the love we have for China. The more I stay in China, and the more I realize that we are actually the same. What we are looking for is health, is family, is basic value, that we are exactly the same. So I think it's really important that all of you guys, we keep on working to tell the world about what China is, and vice versa. I think it's about mutual understanding. And I think we need to keep on working hard for that.
Yeah.
Agree.
Absolutely, absolutely. Finally, last but not least, Carl.
Oh, me. Okay. Yes. I wish, I think for like most of us here, I wish we can get behind the pandemic. I wish everybody get vaccinated. Here in Bali, we're waiting for the Chinese vaccine to be made available to everyone. And lastly, I wish once everyone gets vaccinated, I can get back to travel to China. So Amanda Yi, let's make that happen. Let's make it
2021, yeah.
Hey, I'm in. I want to go back too.
Okay, let's do a whole around the Asia road trip.
Well, I hope everybody, right, around the world who has the opportunity to get vaccinated, get a jab, and that people can resume their life wherever they may be. But it's been a great conversation of peace, of getting to know each other, and about openness as well. I want to thank my 6 panelists: Angelo Giuliano in Switzerland, Cyrus Janssen joining us from Canada, Adham joining us from Wuhan, China, Amanda Yi joining us from New York, Jerry Goode joining us from Qingdao, and Carl Jia joining us from Bali, Indonesia. And with that, we come to the end of this special edition of The Point with me on Spring Festival celebrations. I hope you enjoy the show and got the messages. What do you think of it? As always, you can follow me on Facebook and Twitter using the handle Luxin in Beijing. Thanks for watching. Happy Chinese New Year.